Hi, this is my summary of Stranger Things. I stayed up late, and before I went to bed I wrote my notes on what Stranger Things is about, so I'm just going to refer to them. Stranger Things is disclosure about what they're doing to contaminate the biosphere so that our future is Netflix and pills. So I'm going to break it down. So the CEO of Netflix years ago was interviewed, and they said, why'd you invest so much money in what I'm going to call smell-o-vision? And the CEO of Netflix said, because I think our future will be Netflix and pills, and you'll be able to take a pill and you'll have like a full sensory experience of Netflix. A lot like the movie that they paid for, Netflix original, The Electric State, where, you know, people are just in virtual reality and they piss their lives away. And, you know, it's an adventure for whoever's left after most people die watching Netflix and pills. So Stranger Things is about contaminating the biosphere, which is part of MK Ultra programming. I mean, originally, I've recently found that the show was, Stranger Things was called the Montauk Project or something like that, which is a real thing that happened in Montauk. Do you remember that Michel Gondry movie, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where you go get your memory erased? And Kate Winslet is telling Jim Terry, come to Montauk. And Montauk is where, it's Charlie Kaufman's script. Montauk is the Montauk Project, where they wiped kids' minds and the MK Ultra traumatized them. And that's Stranger Things. Like, that's what happened to the kids in Stranger Things. That's what happened to Eleven and the little boy, Winona Ryder's son. And they took him to Montauk. And so MK Ultra has bigger implications. They have plans to alter the biosphere. And in summary, their altering of the biosphere leads to Netflix and pills. It really also leads to you'll live in a pod, you'll eat the bugs, and you'll own nothing. So Stranger Things rather, is disclosure about that. Do you remember at the end of Stranger Things season 4? I didn't remember, but I've just seen it. So at the end of Stranger Things season 4, the very, very end, there is stuff raining down from the sky. It looks like fallout, and what it is that something has been released into the biosphere from the air, and they're looking at it. That's relating to chemtrails, 5G, taking drugs, Joe Rogan, and oh, you haven't lived until you had DMT, and you go into these realms and you see the purple DMT woman and the Terrence McKenna and machine elves and the meditating aliens and the cosmic jesters, and there's all these like realms that you can go into when you take psychedelic drugs, and people have shared experiences. They come out of their drug trips and they describe the same places, the same beings, and similar experiences. And biblically there are what's called realms. And when you sleep, you go into the astral realm and you dream. When you take drugs, you blur the boundaries between corporeal and incorporeal. And also sometimes when you take drugs, it makes bad movies better. Like Tron's not really a great movie when you're sober, but it's way better on drugs. Probably even the Jared Leto one. People take drugs because they alter our reality. And now we have gas station vapes. It may sound crazy, but all of this is Stranger Things. Netflix is evil. In the future, there won't be much else to do but Netflix and pills, and you want to. It's how you make a bummed out society where they took everything away from us, feel better, get high. It was predicted in Aldous Huxley's science fiction work that I think came out in the 1920s, A Brave New World. So gas station vapes lead to Huxley's soma. Aldous Huxley's brother coined the term transhumanism, and trans means crossing over. So transhumanism means crossing over from being human. Joe Rogan's been saying we're not going to be human anymore, and Peter Thiel, his name, the Palantir guy, his name is a perfect anagram for the reptile. So whatever that guy's real name is, who knows? I guess who cares? The point is that he has some idea that they're going to alter humanity, or there's attempts to alter humanity into something else. I don't know where the heck HEK he gets that from, but maybe you have some idea. Part of MK Ultra's plans to alter the biosphere, I would say, would be to alter our biome inside of us, if I'm using the right word. Like, why is 90% of cheese cultured on black mold? Is that the best, easiest way to do it? No. They're making cheese on black mold, and they're like, no, we take the black mold out of it. So they're making us moldy. Everybody's trying, every third conspiratorial podcast is trying to sell you parasite cleanses, and everything's parasites. There are, that people get, and that goes into realms of being a participant, whether it's witting or unwitting participant in. You're responsible for blood libel by having that put into your blood. You know what the heck HEK I'm talking about. So let me just read my notes, and then we'll get to all these movies, all your Marvel and DC movies having portals in them. Why? All the fallout at the end of season 4 of Stranger Things is about contaminating the biosphere, which MK Ultra has had plans to do, and they've been doing it. Chemtrails, 5G, ding ding, getting them, taking drugs, psychedelic drugs, gas station vapes, government drugs like Delta 8, THC, A, and all the other crazy stuff they have, Lunesta, Ambien, all the things that make your dreams crazy. They want us to live in that altered state. There's another movie about this called, it wasn't a Netflix original or anything. It was called The Congress with Robin Wright, and it's a future where basically you take a drug and you stay online all the time, and you just own nothing, and you just wander around in rags, but you think you're online in a cool virtual world, and everybody looks better than a bunch of rag pickers wandering around slums. But there is a Netflix original. They made the movie to go in theaters, and then Netflix bought it and said, we're just going to put it out on Netflix. And that movie was Annihilation, starring Natalie Portman, with a P-O-R-P. I just think it's funnier that way. And Oscar Isaacs. And in that movie, everything on the planet is tainted by evil. And that was directed by the guy who gave you Ex Machina, which was about sex bots. And I've seen interviews years ago with the guy who made Ex Machina, and he hates God. So he's the director of Annihilation, which is about, tainting everything on the planet with, evil, I guess you could say. So all these portal movies, Marvel and DC, that's also disclosure. It's getting us, and the multiverses. Why all the multiverses? Why is the plot of every Marvel DC, they have like these extended universes where they have Disney streaming shows, and all the movies are connected to one another. And one of the major plot points of all these things is portals to other dimensions where evil comes through. We have CERN, the CERN Hadron Collider, the one in there's Hadron Colliders all over the world. There's but anyway, the one in Switzerland everyone talks about, that's clung to the side of the mountain and everything. I guess they're all like that. Anyway, the point is, the CERN Hadron Collider released a statement, hey, we fired it up and we think something came through. And wait a minute, I thought the CERN Hadron Collider made mini recreations of the Big Bang. What do you mean you fired up the collider and something came through? From another dimension? Like a portal? Yes, that's what their official statement was implying. That they fired up the Hadron Collider and something came through. Gee, I wonder what it was. Probably demons or unclean spirits or something. Hey, we opened a portal to the abyss. We just thought we'd let you guys know. And we're getting ready for whatever Gog Magog is. So this is all what Stranger Things is about, and traumatizing people. MK Ultra is about traumatizing people. So look at what happened to the town of Hawkins. So the town of Hawkins, which is basically doing the Montauk experiments and the MK Ultra. It's all MK Ultra stuff, which is remote viewing, astral projection, and opening a portal to the demonic to let it into our world. That's what Stranger Things is about. The town of Hawkins is under lockdown. They're being examined. I was told that's part of season 5. They're like, yeah, like they're doing the examinations on the people, like they have to do regular. Let's see if what we're trying to do to everybody is working. So all the things that they're doing to us that I mentioned already, 5G, which could be used as a form of mind control. There's those, they call them elf waves, where there's ability to manipulate people, you know, like through the air. And then the devil, one of his names is Prince of the Power of the Air. Just saying. And then there's chemtrails. So all these things are making it possible for us to be influenced against our will, so that you could have waking hallucinations. Another Netflix original that's relatable to all this is Bird Box. Remember Bird Box, where people are seeing stuff that's not there and then they go crazy and they hurt themselves and other people? Yeah, that's part of the plans. It's part of MK Ultra. Also, the idea, there was a bunch of shows, I couldn't tell you the titles of any of them, but there was like 3 or 4 shows, you know, like serialized shows, not necessarily streaming shows, but like network TV or whatever's left of that, like a couple years ago, where people wake up one day and they can't remember who they were, they can't remember the past. That was also part of the Avengers Endgame stuff. There was a blip and a lot of people were just gone, and then other people wake up and like, what happened? We don't really know what happened. And there was a bunch of TV shows, because I know somebody that's a big TV head, and I'm like, what are you watching? And she's like, oh, there's a bunch of people wake up and they can't remember who they are. And there's like 3 or 4 shows that were like that. I don't know if any of them are still on. And this isn't even on Netflix. But the idea that we would, you know, forget the past and not remember what happened to us, and a whole bunch of people are dead and gone, and like, we're not really sure what happened. They're trying to use, their intentions are to use technology like that on people, because one of the results that they got from the MK Ultra experiments were that they could wipe people's minds. And you know that when they torture people for information, they break them down, and then they get them to, they try and break you down, even just with like jail and prison and police interrogations. They try to break the person down so that they can get a confession. But you know, it goes to extreme levels when it's behind closed doors, and it's, you know, governments are involved in these things, and they just want to break people down. So what they found out is that they can break people down and just reshape them into like whatever you want, and turn yourself, you know, and it's easier to do that to children. They're not fully developed yet, so the MK Ultra projects, you know, breaking children and trying to reshape them and opening them up as portals for the demonic. The demonic possession movies are really popular. All this Blumhouse stuff where it's just movies about demons torturing and haunting people. The Conjuring series, which is one of the things in the Bible it says you're not supposed to do. No witchcraft, no sorcery, no necromancy, no raising the dead. I think necromancy is all part of that, talking to the dead, raising the dead. No conjuring is one of those. So the Conjuring movie series is about demonic possession. So they want us to be thinking about this stuff. It's also, I guess I could say, a form of disclosure, where they're like letting the public know, hey, we're doing this stuff to you, and we want you to get used to it. Like when they make all these movies like Outbreak and all these movies about lockdowns, and Contagion is one of those movies. And then when they do that, people are like, oh, this is how we're supposed to behave because they made movies about this and now they're doing this. And Joe Rogan is a very influential guy. He's like the most listened to podcaster. He's in flux of one of the, top 5 podcasts that people listen to. And he's talking about taking drugs and psychedelics, and you haven't lived unless you had psychedelic experience. And psychedelic drugs really came into America through the 1960s counterculture revolution. And Counter the American Culture in the 1960s was like pretty much an anti-family movement, just simply, or to change what's America. It's a country of families. Well, we're counter that culture. Take drugs, tune in, turn on, and drop out of society, I guess. And that just sets up, communism, Marxism, socialism, where it's like we're gonna get high and watch TV and give us our universal basic income, which leads to you'll live in a pod, you'll eat the bugs, and you'll own nothing and love it. And that's how BlackRock manages its assets, which are, people who make your entertainment is probably part of that, which is why they said, we at BlackRock believe in forcing behaviors, so all your movies have the message, and it's the same message. We're doing this to you and you're not going to like it, and you can complain about it, but we're not going to stop making the same movie over and over again. And our movies are your demoralization campaign. And Stranger Things is part of that. It started out about being a group of friends where they meet a girl with magical powers who is MK Ultra, and then now you're going to find out that the little boy that was Winona Ryder's kid that was taken away was MK Ultra. And he didn't go into other dimension. He went into like government experiment lab probably. And so as Stranger Things goes on, some of the complaints about it were that it just became the message, and it's all the girl power stuff, and the guys are just in the background and stand down, and the girls will get stuff done. And that's one of those communism, Marxism, socialism tools to break up the natural order of things. Biblically, the husband is the head of his wife, so let's flip that. Men, stand down, you guys fight the war, you've been in charge. We're going to break the order of things so that we can reshape everybody into you'll live in a pod, you'll eat the bugs, you'll own nothing and love it. Netflix and pills. Playing games where, you're going into other realms and say, wouldn't it be better just to become a fictophile? Wouldn't it be just the real world sucks, I just want to go online, I want to go into my games. Go ahead, young men, go into games and go around shooting stuff. The authorship for New World Order website, or whatever you want to call it, like years ago in the early 2000s I saw this, and the thing that stuck out in my mind was that they said a series of small-scale conflicts at all levels at all times, and I would add to that even within inside one's self. So to have everybody conflicted all the times leads into the New World Order stuff of forever wars, BlackRock, Blackstone, Vanguard, which is all the same company, they manage 12.5 or so trillion in assets of other people's assets and stuff. So they're influencing all the entertainment, because entertainment is about programming the people. And if you want everybody to think the same way, then make all the entertainment the same. That's why that's this Larry Fink statement. That's why we at BlackRock believe in forcing behaviors, so we're going to keep forcing behaviors. So they're telling the people whose assets they manage, hey, you guys make movies, this is what your movies are about. And we're going to do all that DEI stuff because diversity and inclusion is about creating division, and the strategy is divide and conquer. So in Stranger Things at the end of season 4, when they're looking up and they're seeing like fallout rain down or whatever it is, that's just preparing us for like tainting the world and opening, because underneath a lot of political stuff is occultism. We always find, like every war, people say is a blood sacrifice. I saw somebody else's video that was like a decade old, and they were talking about how all wars were blood sacrifice, and I was like, wow, like they are, you know, like they're all ritual blood sacrifice. And I don't want to talk about that in the Stranger Things video. This is about Stranger Things. This is all the things that Stranger Things is about. It's about turning our world upside down and it's using MK Ultra on the masses. I hope I can get this right, but I do remember that years ago our government in America said that it was okay to use psyops on the public, and they're like, yeah, you can do that now. And there's one of the things that Obama brought to us. I can't remember. It doesn't matter whether it was the Democrat or the Republican. They just plow through with whatever the last guy didn't finish, no matter what party he belongs to. Left wing, right wing. They're both wings in the same bird. That bird is a turkey vulture. I've said this before. Other people have said the same thing, except for the turkey vulture part. That's mine. Yeah, Stranger Things is about MK Ultra turned onto the public, but not just in America. Maybe, you know, patient zero being America. Maybe Japan is actually patient zero for that kind of stuff. They seem pretty programmed. They're already living in the pod, and they'll eat the bugs and own nothing and love no one, and they'll love it. They have all the stuff we know about Japan. I talk about it a lot. So do other people. Look at poor Japan, what they did to them. So, and Saudi Arabia and the Muslimification of everything. So, I don't know. Nobody's seen the end of Stranger Things yet as of me recording this, but with what has been put out there already so far, they are contaminating the biosphere and changing our world and opening portals to the demonic, and that's what the Hadron Colliders all over the world are probably doing, and this is like CERN, HARP and DARPA stuff as well. And geoengineering is part of that. Like the stuff that they're releasing down on us is to get into us and affect changes within people. Bioengineered foods would enter into this. Changing our biome inside of our body. Altering foods. Destroying food production facilities, and Tyson Foods buying up the 4 largest bug breeding facilities. Like there was like mealworms, and they bought all the biggest ones, and Tyson Foods said, we see the trend of things, so we want to get involved in that, and you guys are going to eat bugs. They'll make it taste like Taco Bell. That would be a luxury for you. They're just going to eat grubs or eat worms. And that's just, you know, also part of your demoralization, dehumanizing campaign. Hey, you are what you eat. You guys are gonna eat bugs, and you guys are all of us. So, you know, all these. Think about the theme of portals and alternate universes and multiverses. It's near omnipresent in entertainment that has a fantasy element. And the Japanese anime, they become obsessed with this. They don't want to live in the real world anymore. They're becoming what's called fictophiles, where they just want to live in a fictional universe. And that's what Stranger Things is. So they're just working on us over time, breaking us down. I know geoengineering can be used for a lot of other evil things. They've already been doing that. Like the guy who went on all the podcasts apologizing. He said, hold on, I came up with weather tech, but I was not responsible for what happened to those people in Texas or North Carolina, so don't come after me or my family. I just came up with the tech. I didn't implement it on the populace so that we could build smart cities, or whatever he said. So, yes, they're MK Ultraing, well, probably trying to use that research on the world. You know, I remember the Gates Foundation, one of their goals was to have like a McDonald's education. Hey, we could set it up so that everybody could have their internet education. You know, all the young and up and comers, all the alphas and whatever, alphas and betas all the way down to the epsilon generation or whatever. I feel like we're there already. But giving everybody all over the world that same Microsoft education, that would make, to make everybody think the same. McDonald's, one taste worldwide, just having us eat the people's slop, which I guess would be bugs instead of meat, which isn't anything that we need to do. Climate change is about controlling our climate, not because it's in peril, but because they're altering it through geoengineering. It's not like of nature or of God, the climate change. No, they're altering our climate that we live in to make us into what they want, the idea of a perfectly managed system or whatever. But underneath it all is occultism and the devil trying to bring as many people to hell as possible. And it's pretty transparent in Stranger Things, where forces of darkness are trying to bring evil into our world to wreck it, and to bum the whole world out, and just so you stay inside, live in a pod, eat the bugs, own nothing, do nothing, and then be sacrificed up for advancements in technology from interdimensional beings, which is just demons. Aliens are demons, and from another dimension. And that's Stranger Things. They're playing Dungeons and Dragons. They do a summoning spell. The little boy gets abducted in MK Ultra, and the portal to the demonic is opened. And that's it. Again, in all our movies, like, just go through anything that you watched that you thought was cool. A lot of it is about opening portals to other dimensions. I had Spider-Man Into the Multiverse, for kids. Get kids used to the idea of portals, or that you could go into the astral realm and travel around, and maybe it's better there. Stay in dreamland, and we'll handle the rest of the world. And we've got drugs for you. You can't sleep. Take Lunesta, take Ambien, or whatever else we come up. Hit a weed pipe or whatever, and you're gonna have crazy dreams. And maybe it'll be better for you. Maybe you should just stay there. How do you control people? Divide and conquer. And how do you do that? Keep them high. Mess with them, release stuff into the air, aluminum sulfide particles, affect changes in weather patterns, move people around. How do you set up forces of Gog, Magog? Maybe you take people and move them around to other countries, and then try and get everybody to fight each other. That would be a series of small-scale conflicts at all levels. Take resources away and make people fight for resources, and make them live on top of each other, and say, you guys can have Soylent, and you don't have to pay for it anymore, but you're only going to get the same as everybody else gets. And if you want any more than that, we can fight about it, and fight about everything. And MK Ultraing. Stranger Things about MK Ultraing the world, like psyoping the world, and changing us, and turning our lives, our world, upside down, or Luciferian inversion, inside out, whatever you want to think about that. And there's a lot of propaganda through movies and TV shows about that. I mean, that's what that Annihilation movie, which was premiered on Netflix. Netflix bought it and said, "Oh, it's perfect for us. That's what we're going to do to you. We just want, your future is Netflix and pills," is what they want for us. I'm not saying their plans will work, but everybody thinking Stranger Things is cool. Yes, it's about wanting to live in the 1980s and eat junk food before we knew that it was poison. But we want that without all the trauma, and Stranger Things is about traumatizing you, and now that it's wrapping up, it's got the same message as everything else does. And Netflix is your programmer, and what they want, what Netflix wants for you is not good. They want you to be like the Electric State, which was that Netflix thing that people didn't really watch. But if you, look into a summary of what it is, it's about just staying home and watching Netflix, and what will happen to the world. It'll fall apart, and that's okay. There's going to be somebody there to pick up the pieces. It's Hegelian dialectics, and everybody says this now. A lot of people use a term that nobody knew about probably 5 years ago. Most people weren't talking about Hegelian dialectics, but it's problem creation, then the people's reaction to that, and then the solution. So it's problem creation, reaction, solution. And the solution is, hey, we're going to make a problem for you. You're going to say, do something about this. And then we're going to say, here's what we'll do to make it better, what we always wanted to do, because we're the ones that made the problem that you complained about in the first place. Live in the pod, eat the bugs, own nothing, and you'll love it. And maybe Netflix will just become Disney, and there will be no Hulu or anything. Everything will just be conglomerated into government programming like the BBC used to have. Maybe it'll just all be, maybe it'll all be called Disney. Maybe it'll all be called Netflix. Who knows? Maybe we'll all be eating bugs, but they'll just call it Taco Bell, because Taco Bell won the franchise wars in that movie Demolition Man a long time ago with Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone and Sandra Bullock, and they're all retired now. But there was a thing called the franchise wars in that movie, and Taco Bell won. And the reason Taco Bell won the franchise wars is because you're gonna eat bugs that taste like tacos. Probably. Yeah, that's all. So Stranger Things, that's what it's about. This went on longer than I thought that it would from my minimal notes, but that's what they're doing to us. And I apologize if I repeat things, but I feel like it helps drive them in. Like I say, I repeat things, to drive it home. Like, this is what they're doing to us. Even still, the Marvel and DC stuff, James Gunn's Superman, still multiverses, still portals, because that's what they're setting up for us. Stranger Things, multiverses, portals. The Marvel universe is doing Avengers, Doomsday, multiverses and portals. Hey, we're going to bring everything together. We're going to kill all your toy box heroes and everything. And, yeah, that's it. Stranger Things, turning our own world upside down for real and using all the technological evils of the world to get it done. Hey, we experimented on kids. Now we're going to suspend everybody's adolescence and do it to the whole world. And then some countries are probably going to block it out, protect their borders, like maybe Russia or something. They'll say, no, we're not going to let the jets fly around and shit like that. And they'll just, or China won't, whatever they do, you know what I mean? Like China wants China to win, Russia wants Russia to win. And it seems like America's supposed to be like a sacrificial offering to cinch globalization. So anyway, Netflix and pills, that's our future. Go check out Robin Writes to Congress. You can pretty much watch it for free, like on any platform. It's probably just like on Tubi. And you can see what the future they want for us is like, which is Netflix and pills. Hi, I want to talk about Stranger Things, Avengers, Doomsday, opening portals to the demonic through trauma, which brings into an MK Ultra, and there'll also be some X-Men thrown in. And all these things are tied together. A lot of the stuff in our popular culture comes from real horrible experiments that governments did on people. And sometimes they were going for like spooky, occult, supernatural results, so they did those kinds of experimentations. There's an element to that in the MK Ultra experiments and the Montauk Project and all this stuff. And there's photographs, there's evidence of this. There's also whatever disclosure they've given us, where they tell us here's the horrible MK Ultra experiments that they did on children, traumatizing children. There's also stuff I'm not going to touch on very much, other than to just make note of Kinsey. Do you know the Kinsey work that he did? I think Liam Neeson played Kinsey, and they're trying to make him. It's disgusting, the stuff that Kinsey did. They would traumatize children by doing research, and they would let child abusers go in a room with a child and do their thing, and children would be assaulted and traumatized, and then there's somebody behind the wall, behind a mirror, two-way mirror, and they're writing the results of somebody's horrible molestation. And a lot of this stuff has to do with it's all trauma. It's traumatizing people. And I just made a video about Avengers Doomsday and about how the whole thing is to give you all your different superheroes that you've always liked and all the different actors that played these superheroes and bring them back together in one movie, because everybody liked the Spider-Man, the last Spider-Man movie where it had Tobey Maguire and the other Superman guy, and then the new Superman. So I had like 3 different Supermans in one movie, because it was the 3 guys who played him in the movies. And then they did, in DC, they did, Michael Keaton played Batman again, and the Flash, and at the end of that movie they showed you Nick Cage Superman and Christopher Reeves Superman, and they showed you that Supergirl movie with Helen Slater from the 80s, and it was showing you all the multiverses of Supermans. They also did the Spider-Man cartoon Into the Multiverse, so it's all this multiverse stuff. So now they're doing it again, and it's to traumatize you. In short, they're bringing back all your old superhero favorites, and then they're going to kill them because it's called Doomsday, so they're all going to die. And it's to traumatize you. They also did the Marvel Zombies, where it's like, hey, here's all your Marvel legend superheroes and all this stuff, and they're gonna eat each other and die horribly and be cut to pieces. I saw the trailer for the Marvel Zombies, and not only did it look like crap in terms of animation stuff, it's just ugly. It looks like video game cutscene graphics, and I've seen video game cutscene graphics that are better than this. But anyway, the Marvel Zombies, and they eat each other up. And I believe that the whole thing is an exoteric ritual to traumatize you when you watch it, to make you, oh, you like all the superheroes, you grew up with playing with the Marvel Avengers toys, and you had an Iron Man mask and a Thor hammer and a Spider-Man web shooter thing, Spider-Man throws up the Devil's Curse, and you like all that stuff, and that was your childhood. We're gonna kill all those guys now. And everyone's watching, like, you watch the Avengers movies, now you grew up and you're going to take your kids to see these Avengers movies, and we're going to kill all those guys. And it's also part of erasing the past and like putting it all to bed. Forget about heroes. No more heroes of virtue, none of that stuff. Now we're going to take Tony Stark, who was the hero, and we're going to mash him up with Dr. Doom, and we're going to have an Iron Man, Dr. Doomsday mashup character. And he's the hero, now he's the villain. So you're gonna wreck it. You're gonna break all your toys and ruin all your cherished memories of childhood, of running around pretending to be the old gods. All right, they're ruining it on purpose. And that was my, thesis, or whatever you want to call it, about Avengers Doomsday. So Stranger Things, it's 5 seasons of watching children grow up that were traumatized. 11 in Stranger Things is a rib from the MK Ultra Montauk experiments and all the horrible stuff where they would tie the kids to the bed, because I've seen pictures of this too, but I don't want to use that stuff for thumbnails, where they did horrible stuff to experiment on children. And in this Stranger Things, they're opening portals to the demonic, which leads me to the main point of this whole video, which is that we are portals to the demonic. Here's how demonic possession works. You get traumatized, and then there's some kind of opening in you through pain, and then you do something you're not supposed to do, you do something that's against God. Well, the legalistic ways of demons being such as they are, they say, well, he did this or she did that, now we have a right to attack them. And if you traumatize people enough, and this is part of the MK Ultra experiments and probably other horrible, Project Golden Child or whatever these things they did are. They had these things called, what do they call it? Artichoke, Project Artichoke, which has something to do with your pituitary, whatever one of your glands in your head is shaped like an artichoke, right? That's something to do with it. So they have these real life government experiments, and probably all the major nations in the world have these same kinds of disgusting experiments where they blur science and occultism, because it's all forbidden arts like sorcery, witchcraft, magic, conjuring, necromancy, which is talking to the dead. They're trying to do all these things. Even the invention of the television cathode tube, they were trying to make spooky TV to talk to ghosts. They thought that they could, but they mentioned the cathode tube, its intention was to make a device that they could speak to spirits with. Now that's just TV. Now we've transcended and moved on beyond the cathode tube to, a phone in our hand which has the internet on it, and we can get programmed with that and probably speak to ghosts or demons or whatever. So in Stranger Things, they had a government project that was traumatizing children to develop psychic abilities. What we know from the New Testament was that Paul and Silas cast demons out of a servant girl that was good at fortune telling. So this is during the Roman Empire. So they were taken to court by the rich family that owned the servant girl because they lost a revenue stream, because when Paul cast the demon out of the servant girl, she couldn't tell fortunes anymore. So they went to court and lost the case, and Paul and Silas got beaten with rods. So the point is, in the past, before the fall of Rome, it was accepted that people would have demons and unclean spirits within them because it was, you can make money. So powers and abilities, we don't have them. God didn't give us like super speed and all these things. But if you look into what anime is, like every third anime is somebody's in love with a demon. Somebody gets powers and abilities far beyond that of a mortal man from a demon. Or somebody makes a blood pact, like Chainsaw Man is all about that. In Chainsaw Man, the whole premise of the show is people, humans, making blood pacts with demons in exchange for superpowers. This is the X-Men. They used to be men, now they're X-Men. This also goes into transhumanist agenda stuff. So what's the story of the X-Men? Well, what they made it to be in the comics, which is the origin of all this X-Men stuff, is that these kids, as they were coming into adulthood, found out that they had powers and abilities, and they became outcasts of society. And then they went to go stay at the Professor X mansion, and they're the X-Men. They used to be men, now they're not. They've crossed over from being, because trans means crossing over, and human means crossing over from being human. So the X-Men are people that are possessed or have bloodlines of fallen angel bloodlines. Like some of the X-Men are just born with these powers and abilities that regular people don't have. And there is some disdain by the general population of the X-Men. Like that's the whole thing in the X-Men, is that they're misunderstood and they're outcasts of society because they have these demonic abilities that human normal person doesn't have. And they come on with puberty and all this stuff. This all relates to MK Ultra experiments, the Montauk Project, Project Artichoke, and any other government horrible things they did to kids to study the results, where they blurred science and occultism, and where they did it because all the MK Ultra stuff was about trying to put demons in children, and then like trying to wipe people's memories so that they'd forget what was done to them. That's all stuff that's in Stranger Things. Stranger Things is about everything that I'm talking about, so maybe I should just start talking about Stranger Things, and that'll help give a context to, well, the reality of this stuff, which is demonic possession, and the idea of a traumatized person being a portal to the demonic, that the demonic can enter into because of the trauma. And also there was experiments to, like, they made a movie, Men Who Stare at Goats, where they tried to make fun of like psyop experiments, and they said, oh, look, there's this funny group of men who try to like stare at goats and make them die, and they says, I'll bunk them, and they made it into a comedy with George Clooney, so that you'd think these guys are all crazy, but really they were doing these experiments on children. I'm sure they did experiments on grown men to try and put demons in there and stuff, but that's what Stranger Things is about. They're traumatizing kids, and by traumatizing them, they're getting these powers and abilities which come from being possessed by demons. You're making a person, by breaking them down and breaking them and hurting them, into a vessel for the demonic. So take a child that isn't done being developed yet and break them. Wasn't that one of the things that Aleister Crowley loved? He talked about the corruption of every child before they even get out of the womb, and that this would be his age of Horus, and Horus is the evil demon, they used to worship and venerate in Egypt. And Aleister Crowley, he called himself 666, the Beast, and he would do all the most vile and disgusting things, and he wrote in his books about his 300 plus child human sacrifices, and he would go into other countries and they'd kick him out all the time, and you have to keep moving around. And it didn't end well for him, and he was hated, and he would eat scats, and he was obsessed with doing magic and rituals and everything, and he became a horribly degraded person. And Aleister Crowley is the guy that Robert Downey Jr. did rituals to try and channel, and he said when he tried to channel Aleister Crowley, that was the thing that helped him go method to take on the role of Iron Man. So to play the greatest hero in the Marvel universe that everybody loves, the Iron Man movies and Robert Downey Jr., the thing that he tells you that got him the role was trying to channel Aleister Crowley, who is disgusting and vile, and everybody knows about Crowley now, right? And if you want to find out about how disgusting he was, you can. He wanted to be known for that. He thought that he would be buddies with the devil, and that he could usher in this age of Horus and Madame Blavatsky, all these evil people. So, and then all this stuff that Crowley talks about is stuff that the government was doing. The World War II Germans were occultists that were doing rituals and blood sacrifice because they wanted to win the war and take over the whole world. So they were all into this stuff. And it's even in the Indiana Jones movies, whenever there's Germans in it, they're trying to get these biblical things, the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail. And then the second Indiana Jones movie is about an Indian death cult, and they're drinking the blood and Kali Ma Shook today, and they're turning people into zombies, and they have children as slaves in the mines. They steal all the children from the village. It's like the plot of Indiana Jones. So taking children and hurting them is a really disgusting thing, because you're wrecking somebody before they're finished. Planned Parenthood cutting up and vivisecting abortions to itemize the parts is a disgusting thing, and that's what's done. Sinomics is the corporation that buys up, I think, more of the world's openly, on the table, buys up more of the world's abortions than any other transnational corporation. And they were making flavor enhancements for snack foods out of human embryonic kidney cells, cloned strands of human embryonic kidney cells. How did they figure out that dead aborted baby kidney cells could be a flavor enhancement for foods? What the hell does that mean? It's disgusting. How did what would be great for Oreo cookies if we could just put a little pinch of human embryonic kidney cell cloned strands into the flavoring, and then you would be a participant in ritual human sacrifice. It's traumatizing just hearing about that. They're trying to backpedal on it and lie about it now. But I think it was in 2013 that Pepsi Nabisco, which is conglomerated, had to apologize that they were using flavor enhancements from Sinomics that were made from, human embryonic kidney cell clone strands, to be specific about it. And, if you look it up now, they're like, that was never true. And I'm like, no, it was true. They apologized. They publicly apologized, and they said, we won't do that anymore, which meant that they were doing it. And this is before all the AI shit that they do now that try and make you not believe anything, so we have to get real IDs. But anyway, stay on point. Getting in the Joe Rogan flotation tank to cut off all your senses is another way of opening you to the demonic. What's another place to go to the crossroads where you make your devil's deal? Taking psychedelic drugs, you're blurring the boundaries between corporeal and incorporeal. And that's another opening where the legalistic ways of demons, such as they are, said he did this thing. You're taking a root, you're doing ayahuasca, which is a root. There's stuff in the Book of Enoch about doing the cuttings from roots, and it's all against God and stuff. If you want to if you believe anything from the Book of Enoch, I would say only look at Book 1, because Book 2 and 3 are proven to be fakes or whatever. But anyway, we're not supposed to do witchcraft, necromancy, sorcery, conjuring, and that's what pharmaceutical companies do. It's just like we don't look at it that way. We call it science, but it is sorcery. It's taking, forbidden teachings and forbidden things. Do you want to have anything to do with the hex cells? I don't think so. And that's what a lot of people signed up for. And they felt like that in some countries they had to. They're like, hey, if you want to interact, everybody has to line up. We're making you do this. We're shutting down the world, and you're getting human embryonic kidney cells in you, in your blood, whatever that means. So, it's a way to be a participant in human sacrifice. And it's not esoteric, which would be like a ritual, miming the thing. You're actually a participant, like your blood's involved. That's horrifying. So in Stranger Things, they traumatize the kids, and the more what is the power? I just learned this because I've seen some of this. I think I saw the first 3 seasons of Stranger Things. So I've seen some more of it now over the Thanksgiving holiday, and they're traumatizing children, which is making them portals to the demonic. But in that show, what's happening is it's opening portals for demons to come into our world. But how demonic possession works is, you get traumatized, and that gives demons ways to get into you. And what did it say in the Bible? There was Jesus says, how many demons are in there? And he said, no, who's in there? Name yourself, demon. And then one demon, representative demon, says, our name is Legion, for we are many, which is an old-fashioned way of saying there's a lot of demons in here, Jesus. And then Jesus casts all the demons out, because there's a whole bunch of them, and he casts them out into a herd of pigs, because they requested. The demons say, please don't send us away before our time into the abyss or whatever. They said, cast us into those swines. So Jesus commands those demons into the swine, and then he commands the swine to go into the water and drown themselves, so the demons can't take possession of the pigs, which was unclean, unfit meat for people to eat before Jesus showed up, and probably afterwards too. So if the demons entered into the pigs and people ate the pigs, because that's what they were doing with them, eating them. And who was eating them? The Gentiles, because the chosen people, God's people that failed him, did not eat pork, but everybody else did. So is eating pork a way for demons to get into people? I don't know, but probably. So, back then. What does it mean now? I don't know. I don't eat it. I don't eat pork. I have a weird video on that. I don't know if it's out yet, but I think the video is called Are Pigs Human? So you can speculate about what that means, as I didn't look to see if that video has been released on this channel yet. But you can also type it into YouTube, and you're going to get weird results where doctors talk about it. And when they do grafts on people, they use pig parts, and the grafts take, like human skin, they use pig skin. Why? Why does that work? That's weird. So anyway, enough about pigs. We're going to talk about ritualistic child human sacrifice, and how MK Ultra was trying to put demons in kids, and how to do that is you're opening portals, you're opening yourself up to demonic possession. Look how popular the Conjuring series is, and all the Paranormal Activity, all the ghost hunting TV shows that were on, the Zach Baggins and all that stuff, getting people interested in the idea of demonic possession and making it seem like it's this really scary, terrifying thing. Except that real life exorcism is different than what you see in the movies, and I'm sure it's very disturbing to a lot of people, the reality of it. But also it's not like the movies, and you're not supposed to be afraid of demons. God gave us the authority, should our lives be clean enough to be able to do it, to receive him, that we cast out demons and they fear God. Just us doing an exorcism, doing it in the name of Jesus, saying, in the name of Jesus, I bind you, demons, and I command you to leave this person and go directly into the abyss. I command you to leave this person, and I cast you before the feet of the Lord for him to do with you as he wills. In Jesus' name, amen. You do the exorcisms. And you don't need holy water, crosses, or any of that shit. It's just the authority of given to you by God. You're Ghostbusters, you're God's proton pack, and he is the proton that works through you. And by the authority of Jesus' name, just saying his name makes the exorcism work, and the demons leave the people. And you're not supposed to have to go get exorcisms every Sunday, all right? So, some of those exorcist guys put the demons in. I feel obligated to say that. But also, in Stranger Things, it really turned a light on in me where I'm like, wait a minute, like we're portals to the demonic, like traumatized people, hurt people, people who do things that God doesn't want us to do. We are opening ourselves to be channels. We are open. Some people do it willingly. Some people give them over to be channels. They want to channel. They like, there was that Nosferatu movie that was made with Johnny Depp's daughter. Don't see it. I haven't seen it, but when I heard what it was about, it was that she was inviting this demonic presence into her life, and Nosferatu showed up and like ruined her life. And she became possessed. I remember seeing daytime talk show clips from the BBC where they had a woman on who was telling women at home in the daytime that she had a ghost for a lover, and it was the best sex she ever had, and that she was in love with a ghost. Now, there are no ghosts. There's unclean spirits. The only ghosts are the spirits of dead Nephilim, and like whatever kind of creatures there were on the earth that were like, when angels and Nephilim entered into beasts and then created, before God shut that down, and they create creatures. All right, this is the biblical stuff. So, what are they doing in Stranger Things? They're traumatizing children to open portals within them to the demonic. So that's bringing more demons into more power and authority that they had before. I mean, it's the thing that demons and unclean spirits want. They want our material embodiment. They don't have bodies. They're incorporeal. There's corporeal, that's you and me, flesh and blood. And then there's incorporeal. They don't have material embodiment. Or it fluctuates. It's not the same as our actual physical material embodiment. This is demonic possession. So traumatize the kids and break them, and then demons can puppet their bodies, and a demon can have a human life where they grow up and the whole person's possessed, and they just keep pushing the person out of the way. I remember one of my progeny's friends was taking medications for teen angst or whatever and depression, and then they were mixing that together with cannabis, and they were starting to hear voices, and that's how they knew they had to stop doing everything, because they were hearing voices. And then everybody said, well, what are the voices saying to you? And he said, they were telling me to shuffle myself off this mortal coil. So, wean yourself off the medications, no weed, and the voices went away. Surprise, surprise. And that's the story people tell over and over again when they get really into drugs. At some point, they get so far gone that they start hearing voices in their heads. You remember Elliot Page? She used to be Ellen Page. Before Ellen became Elliot, Ellen was hearing voices in her heads and was on hormone replacement therapy. I can never get the initials right for that one. So HRT and whatever else they were doing, and they were hearing voices, and it was very traumatic. So look what happened to Ellen became Elliot, which is heartbreaking. And right before they did that, they were hearing a lot of voices in their heads. If you know who that is, it's the girl that played Juno. Now you can't call her Ellen anymore. That's Elliot now, and she had the surgery and had her tits cut off. It's horrible and traumatic, and I can't pretend to understand what it's like to be messed with by demons so bad, because that's what happened. And who made her a star? A woman whose screenwriting name is Diablo Cody. So devil is a Diablo, right? Doesn't it mean demon or the devil? Doesn't Diablo mean the devil? Devil Cody. Great. So, and then she also made Jennifer's Body, which is a movie about demonic possession, where, what's her name? Megan Fox was in that movie, where she's the girl that gets possessed by a succubus, which is a female demon, and then she goes around killing a bunch of teenage boys. And look what happened to Megan Fox. She was married to Machine Gun Kelly. Sounds like Gossip Hour. She was married to Machine Gun Kelly, and they openly were saying, yeah, we drink each other's blood. And she's like, yeah, I'm a witch, and I took ayahuasca, and and they said, what was your vision? And she said, I saw a vision of me in hell forever. And she said, ha ha ha. And all three of her boys are trans girls. All of them, all of her kids. Isn't that amazing that all of her kids are all just, they were born as boys, but they're not really boys, they're girls. Isn't that crazy that the lady who's the witch has 3 trans kids that's famous, that was in a movie called Jennifer's Body, and she was Jennifer that got possessed by a succubus? Huh. Wonder what happened. What about Ezra Miller, where he got the role of the Flash, so he took a cue from famous comic book writing Aleister Crowley worshipping occultist Grant Morrison, who Grant Morrison wrote a Flash story that the movie's based on, where he said he wanted to channel the spirit of Mercury or whoever these different Hermes or whoever the messengers of the gods was, the guy with the wings on his helmet and his feet. He's like one of the Greek gods. There's different versions, and he did Aleister Crowley satanic rituals to channel the Flash. And then Ezra Miller did the same thing, and he started a cult and became crazy, and he referred to himself as them, they. Why did he call himself them, they? Because he got possessed by a legion of demons like that guy in the Bible. So anyway, back to Stranger Things. It's about getting possessed, and it's the same thing with the X-Men. You're opening yourselves to demonic. It's the same thing with Chainsaw Man. That's the future that they want for us. They want us to go back to the old days of ancient Rome before it fell, where it was openly accepted that people had demons latched onto them. There's also a Stephanie Myers movie. Remember Stephanie Myers, the one who wrote a 50 Shades of Grey fan fiction, where it was BDSM. It was 50 Shades of Grey, but the guy was a vampire. And then she just changed it into Twilight, her fan fiction, and Twilight was a big hit. And Twilight was a decision where Bella had to decide what she wanted to do after high school. What do you want to do after high school, Bella? You want to be a werewolf or a vampire? Vampires have more money and are prettier. Werewolves, hairy, all that. You really want to deal with that? They live on the beach. They live like in a shack. And where do you want to roll around with the dogs, or you want to be one of the elites and feed off the life force and essence of the living? You want to drink the blood, or you want to be a dog? Well, anyway, she became a vampire. And vampire means, like what is the origin of a vampire? It's somebody who gives up their soul in exchange for some form of immortality, and you got to drink blood. So that Stephanie Myers did another movie that wasn't a hit, that was supposed to be another 3 movie series like Twilight, and it was called The Others. And what Stephanie Myers' The Others was about were aliens. There's an alien invasion from outer space, and anytime you hear aliens from outer space falling to Earth, it really means fallen angels falling to Earth. The aliens aren't up there. They're down here with us. They're demons. Aliens are demons. And sorry, my screen went dark. So aliens are demons. And Stephanie Myers, The Others, the whole Earth gets overtaken when these aliens come to Earth and they possess people. And there'll be multiple aliens inside people's bodies. And it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which was about communism, where there was these aliens from outer space and they were taking over people's bodies, and that made them commies or whatever, and they were called the pod people. Well, this is Stephanie Myers' modern day retelling of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but it's more like a soap opera and more like Twilight, because the whole thing is aimed at young people. And to summarize it, just to get over with it, It's about saying, hey, maybe it wouldn't be so bad to have demons or in you, a bunch of demons, and you could be in love with demons, and the demons could possess you and have hot demon sex. And that's Stephanie Meyer's The Others, being taken over by demons. And the other one's about marrying a vampire and being a blood-drinking ghoul with reptilian shiny skin, whatever that means. And so it's all about being possessed. And there's so many things like this to invade our popular culture. Again, to go back to Chainsaw Man, I don't know how big of a hit it is in Japan. I think it's more popular in other countries than it is in Japan. So as of me recording this, a Chainsaw Man movie came out, and it was a big hit over all the other stuff that was in theaters. Like it beat Superman, James Gunn's Superman, and all this other stuff that came out. The Chainsaw Man anime, which most Americans don't know about Chainsaw Man, the anime, but it did become a big hit at the movies in America, and all they did was translate it into English from Japan. So in Chainsaw Man, the whole thing, as I said before already, but I'll say it again to reiterate, is predicated on making blood pacts with demons. That's what all the kids cutting themselves, that's making a blood offering to demons to make the voices and the pain and all the mental trauma that the demons are inflicting upon the teenager go away. You're opening yourself and your bloodletting, which is forbidden by God. It says in the Bible, no bloodletting. Because you're making offerings to demons, whether you know it or not. I know that most teenage girls that did that kind of stuff, or J-pop or K-pop idols that have scars all over their arms because it's like a true thing, are miserable, traumatized, and they themselves are idols, which is against God, and it's false idolatry. So they're letting blood out of themselves, which is an offering to appease the demons. That's why they keep doing it. It makes the pain go away, because you're making an offering to a demon so that they shut up for a little bit and they get high on your blood, and then they do it again until it destroys the person. And it's mostly young girls and stuff that do this, right? And they say, oh, it's goth and emo, but they're doing it because of trauma, and they're doing it because they're tormented in the spiritual realm from demons, and they're being whispered to in their ears by demons, and that's why they're doing that. It's bloodletting, which is forbidden in the Bible. It even says, I forget, is it in Deuteronomy? I'm not sure, but there's in Leviticus about all the laws of blood play and stuff, when it says don't drink the blood of animals, don't drink the blood of any living thing unless lifeblood runs through it. Well, that's exactly what demons want. They want the bloodletting. But you're not supposed to drink blood. You're also not supposed to, when people were mourning, they would do that. They would make cuts and release blood, and God said don't do that, because you're not getting over your mourning. You're making an offering to demons because they're attracted to blood. That's why the Incas and the Aztecs and the Mayans were cutting people's hearts out. Here you go, and then the blood would run down, the pyramid and all that stuff. That's why they did those things. So the World War II Germans did that stuff. And after we know what happened to the World War II Germans, they got like some of the most highest paying jobs, and they were hidden. They were like, no, the war's over. You guys should continue your research for us. And like, fine, we don't care. We just want to do devil shit. We don't care who's paying us. And then, that beats getting put on trial and executed and all that stuff, right? Oh, they're going to pay us higher than everybody else? Ha ha ha. Who won the war? The occultists. And who was the ritual sacrifice? Everybody that died in the war, no matter what side they fought on, when they pitted us against each other. That's what the war was. The war was a blood sacrifice. The war was a ritual. Our blood was being spilt on any side of the harmony, whether it was the deceived Germans or, Italians, Russians, Chinese, Japanese. It was the world war. Everybody was being offered up as a sacrifice, as many of our strongest and fittest young men as possible. I mean, guys wanted to fight in the war that they would lie about their age, and then the guys that knew that they weren't that age would let them in anyway because they wanted to fight for their country. They were sacrifices, blood sacrifices, killing each other. God said, thou shalt not kill. Well, are we supposed to kill or not? And why is this important? All this blood stuff, which I guess is where the episode went. Jesus was the last sacrifice. His blood was spilt to cover all of our sins for all eternity unto eternity, when there's no more tears, when we're either together in heaven with him or burned to naught in the lake of fire, or whatever happens down there. You don't want to know because you don't want to be there. You want to hear about it from heaven. What are they screaming about? Oh, that's eternity in hell or whatever. So Jesus' blood, people were doing the blood sacrifice stuff. So God sent his only begotten Son, who was willing to do this, who was our King and our God. He laid down his life to be the sacrificial offering. I mean, he was born in a food trough. What more direct representation of Jesus? That's where you eat out of. He was born to lay down his life for us, so that the point is that in the Old Testament, they would do blood sacrifice, and then the temple priests would sprinkle the blood around. And there was all the stuff that the pagans and worshippers of Baal and the Canaanites were doing, where they're offering up their children and killing children and drinking blood and offering people and throwing them into the fire and murdering them and throwing them in the Colosseum and all this ritual stuff. Well, God said, we're going to end this blood sacrifice stuff. I'm coming down here, and my blood's going to be spilled. And then that's it. No more blood sacrifice, no more rituals, no more sprinkling the altar once a year to cleanse and purify the people of blood, no more Shabbat throat-cutting sacrifice. Jesus settled that stuff, and yet there's a whole bunch of people that don't believe in that, and they still want to do their Shabbat sacrifice, and that's probably what happened to Charlie, if you know what I mean when I say that, because of his throat, they shot him in the throat, and it was on Shabbat. So anyway, whatever, because he didn't want to play ball with them no more. So anyway, back to Stranger Things is, I think people think about demonic possession, and they're like, yeah, like you can have a trauma happen to you, and then that sadness, those feelings is an opening, a weakness, and that's an opening for demons to come in and destroy your life and try to destroy you. I mean, that's really all demons want. They know that they're going to hell forever, and that there's probably no way out of it for them. So they only have one objective until the end of time, which is to get as many people as possible sent to hell. So in Stranger Things, the idea of the whole world being turned the upside down just means Luciferian inversion of God's order. So God has one way, we're told, to do things. The upside down is inversion. All right, which Aleister Crowley was all into, and that's why there's a star pointed upright, which symbolizes a man with his head towards God or whatever. But if you turn the man upside down and have an upside down star, that symbolizes man with his head in the dirt, just to get on with it. I know it means a lot of things, but that's one of them. I know people put the goat head in there and everything, but it's really about the inversion of man. Instead of man being upright, he's upside down. So Stranger Things has the upside down. And what's the whole show about? Opening the whole world up so that the whole world can become a hellscape and the demonic can rule over the earth. And what I've seen from Stranger Things, where the guy that calls himself what's his name, Machnar? The demon, the Freddy Krueger guy they fight in Stranger Things, it's not Machnar, that's heavy metal. It's Vecnar. Whatever the guy's name, I think that is. So the guy's name in Stranger Things, he's talking to the little girl, number 11, and he's number 1, and he's talking to the little girl. He's just thoroughly possessed and destroyed as a human being, so he wants to open the world because he says that people are disgusting. It sounds like the wealthy elite. It sounds like the rich people. Like all these people are disgusting, and we just need to destroy the world, and we'll make it in our own image and likeness and everything. That's Luciferian inversion. So this guy, Lochnar? What's his name? No, Vecnar. So Vecnar, the guy, when they're in the MK Ultra thing training kids, he's talking about how he's so disgusted with Earth and he just wants to let demons take over everything because man is disgusting and weak. That's what the demons think. They didn't like God's plan for humanity, and they were jealous. So they fought against God because they thought they could take him, which is pride and vanity, and they lost and they got kicked out of heaven, and they still think that they're better than us. Otherwise they would stop being evil, which isn't going to happen. They're twisted, perverted beings that have, some have thousands of years of just torment and doing evil, that they're broken, they're ruined. Like these demons, these fallen angels, these unclean spirits, these dead Nephilim, the dead spirits of dead mermaids, or whatever you want to believe, dead dragons, or whatever, and all fallen angels. They're perverted and twisted, and they've had a long time to do this, and they're just completely ruined and destroyed, so they don't want to do anything except destroy. A wounded narcissist wants to lash out against the thing that it believes hurt it. And these demons are wounded narcissists with a God complex because they thought that they could take on the old man and win, and they failed miserably. So before they even go to hell, they burn down here. And what happens to the demons in Stranger Things? They don't like heat. And what's heat? Like, isn't that, like light and warmth? And we want to be warm, we don't want to be cold, we'll freeze to death. What if hell is like freezer burn? Where, because in Stranger Things, the demons come from a cold place, and the upside down, and they like coldness, but the heat, they don't like the heat. Remember that? Where Hopper, he's holding off the demons in a Russian prison. I think I'm going to do a review of Stranger Things, because I know people love it, but I'm like, this isn't really so great. It's not very good. Anyway, but I want to talk about the symbolism in Stranger Things and how it's about MK Ultra and opening portals to demonic, and the big battle for the end of Stranger Things, because they're ending it now, right? This is the last season. The 5th season is the last one. So, they want to ruin the world by opening all these demon portals. It's the thing that the CERN Hadron Collider, the CERN in Switzerland, they talk about. They're like, we fired up the Hadron Collider and we think stuff may have come through. What are you talking about? Those are official statements from CERN, where they say, CERN based on Cernunnos, which is a pagan god with horns that they used to worship. So CERN and Cernunnos, I think it's the same thing. And they have the statue of Kali, which is Kali the Destroyer in the Hindu pantheon of demons, which is just like some kind of fallen angel or something, right? I mean, like all the major religions of the world are just distortions of Christianity, like they're distortions of the truth. That's another episode. So, the Indians are worshipping a pantheon of demons, and Kali's a destroyer, like the age of Kali and the age of destruction and all this stuff and all their beliefs. So why does CERN have a statue to that guy or girl or whatever kind of pansexual being it is or whatever? So anyway, they fired up the Hadron Collider and they said that stuff got through. And when I heard that statement, I thought, what do you mean, like Stephen King's The Mist? Yeah, CERN said that. So what do you mean CERN opened up a portal? I was told by CERN what they were doing was mini recreations of the Big Bang, and they needed a lot of bucks to do it. And then I saw the 8 million euro thank you letter for the Gothard Tunnel, and they wanted you to see that ritual. They wanted you to see the Gothard Tunnel celebration, which is an openly occult, directly satanic ritual that has a part that's part of the rituals inside the tunnel, and the other part of the rituals outside, where they have broad daylight, LED screens, and the whole and the devil comes out, and there's an orgy where people are wearing, like, they got clothes on, but like they take their clothes off and they're wearing skin-colored bodysuits, and they have an orgy and they bang, and then the devil comes out and he bangs, and then the Scarlet Woman becomes fat and bloated and gives birth to a demon that looks like Where the Wild Things Are from the Spike Jonze movie, and looks like a mascot in a demon costume. I'm like, what the hell is this? And the guy's wearing goat horns and shit. Like, what is this? Thanks for the tunnel. Thanks for the Gothard Tunnel, a satanic occult ritual. And then they show the audience, and they're all wearing white gloves and top hats, and they're weirdos, and they're holding like branches of a tree, and what the hell is that's the audience? What the hell are they doing? So anyway, rich people believe in the devil and they worship him. Not all of them, but the really rich people, because they know what's up. How do you think they got that money and power? Probably drinking baby blood. Nothing's new. It's the same as it's always been. Except for there may have been this time when it was 1,000 years of peace, but called the Dark Ages. But that's over now. So the Dark Ages, where there was advancements in, you know, architecture that's unable to be duplicated today, yet nothing was going on and we don't know what happened. Doesn't add up. So this one's pretty crazy, right? I'm all over the place. But again, it's all related. Like, I don't know how long this video is going to be. I'm still going. So in Stranger Things, they traumatize children to give them powers. And is really Stranger Things and the X-Men that different from one another? I don't really think so. It's the same story. Troubled teens, chemicals, hormones in the body, trauma. This kid's possessed. I don't trust anyone over 30. The music they aim at teenagers. The stuff that they were doing in the MK Ultra experiments, the ages of the children, opening portals to the demonic, Japan telling kids, maybe you want to do a blood pact with a demon and you'll get powers and abilities and be like Chainsaw Man. And what's Chainsaw Man? He's a horny teenage boy. And he doesn't own anything and he lives in a shack, and his big highlight is he just wants jam and toast. Does that sound like live in the pod and eat the bugs to you? All he wants to do is feel up a girl, and he's willing to risk his life to do that. He's even willing to be fused with a demon, the chainsaw demon or whatever it is. And they have all these demons of evils of the world. Here's the bomb demon, here's the gun demon, here's, you know, whatever they do. Here's the wolf demon and all this shit. And it's all just about the idea, I think, of enculturating the bad old days when it was openly known that people were possessed, and maybe you want to be possessed. Wouldn't it be cool to jump over buildings like Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, Spider-Man throwing at the devil's curse to shoot webs, which definitely sounds like a teenage idea. He's shooting webs, doing a devil's curse and shooting his ghoul over the place. Sounds like a teenager. This with one hand and this with the other hand. So, and you know, who's he in love with? Spider-Man's in love with Mary Jane, who's a redhead, and redhead is a symbol of the elites. They will wear redheaded wigs and powder their face white. They wanted to be like the progeny of the fallen angels and human women. They wanted to be like those bloodlines who were red and hairy. They have red hair and pale skin. These are the descriptions of Nephilim throughout history, and that's what the elites wanted to be. Think about Queen Elizabeth and all the other queens in England and stuff like that, and the red hair and powdering their skin to be pale and all that stuff, imitating the Old Testament overlords, the people before they flooded the earth. The giants ruled the people and everything. Nimrod's phallus at Christmas, all this shit. So yeah, do I have anything else to say? I do have a note on this. I didn't get into Doomsday yet, did I? Yeah, I did up front. I said Doomsday, they want to traumatize people to let demons in like Stranger Things. They want people to like the X-Men because their powers come with demons and blood packs like Chainsaw Man. What if we're the portals? This is my notes I'm reading, which is like just tiny notes. Traumatized people are portals. And our government knows this. They were traumatizing children and finding out that demons got in, which is stuff they probably figured out in World War II, that they already knew. I mean, it's one of the oldest rituals is where you dress up like the demon or your ancestor's spirit, hoping, and ancestor spirits are demons. I don't know how else to put it. It's just, there are no ancestor spirits. There's just old demons, or maybe spirits, just unclean spirits. They're all evil. The only spirit that a man can have is his Holy Spirit, the Spirit of God. That's why it's a big deal in the Bible about the Holy Spirit, because you don't want evil spirits in you. You want the Spirit of God in you and nothing else. That's the only thing that's supposed to enter into another man is the Spirit of God, not men entering into other men. That's going to put demons in. They get in through your asshole. Did you know that? Anyway. So, that's one of the ways. It's also trauma for some people. I know I would not consider that any fun. You know what I mean? That's a traumatic experience. So the trauma is a weak point in a person. whether adult or a child. So, demons always looking for openings will look for that weak point and enter into them. And look at what happens in Stranger Things, that point of trauma. 11 and all those other test subject kids with their heads shaved that are in the underground bunker facility or whatever, they're all learning to hone in on their traumas because their traumas are their powers and abilities. Which just means that think about your trauma and you're going to open within yourself a portal that allows the demons to come into you. And then you're the vessel for the demons, like Wagner? What's his name? Vecnar. I'm sorry if I don't have that name. You know who I mean. The demon from Stranger Things is Vecnar. So Vecnar got taken over by demons, and I know that the show isn't over yet. They're like finishing. When's the last episode? Christmas Day or some shit like that. So they're because they want you to watch The Ritual on Saturnalia. December 25th, guys, see how Stranger Things ends. Is the last one. People have parties about this. They're having they have watch parties and stuff to watch it. I think it's kind of cheesy. There's so many times where you have to really give it in a suspension of disbelief because I'm like, this is stupid, like all this stupid shit. And they're just telling kids to do bad stuff, right? Like, steal things and get whatever. That doesn't matter. But anyway, kids being made to think, and anyone who watches, it's not just children, that if you focus on your trauma, then powers and abilities will come to you. But if you focus on your trauma, it's going to make you feel bad. And when you feel bad, you're weak. And when you're weak, and there's also a possibility in weak moments, like give to me a broken man, this is something I can do with. God said, this is someone I can do something with. Give to me a broken man is what God says. Because when you give up yourself to God, then maybe, His Holy Spirit can work within you and you can be a lamp on a lampstand. But it's also openings, moments of weakness and vulnerability can also be potential openings for the demonic if you're doing stuff against God or if you're so horribly traumatized. And that's what Stranger Things is telling kids, because it's a young people thing. I think a lot of Stranger Things is just a nostalgia for the 80s. If you were there, then you remember that the world was better. And if you're young, you wish that you were living in the 1980s because the world was better. It's the same motivation. Don't you just want to go to the mall and feel safe and buy shit because you have money and everything was cheap? And all the pretty things and everything's fantastic and plastic and there's enough. Yeah, me too. I think that's the main appeal. And then put demons in it and stuff like that. But I think it's encouraging, like open yourself to the demonic and then you can get powers and abilities like all the other things I mentioned. And I think bringing the X-Men back, like I don't know what Marvel Disney's going to do with the X-Men other than the Avengers Doomsday thing. They're going to kill all the Bryan Singer X-Men and whatever versions you've seen in movies before, and they say now we're going to start over, and it's going to be all the X-Men are going to be like the X-Men kids in the Deadpool movies, where they're going to be alternative lifestyle superpower teens, right? So that's what the X-Men will be. And whatever Bryan Singer did, they're going to take it to the next level and say, yes, openly all the X-Men are gay, and that trauma of whatever made them that way is going to make them perfect vessels for the demonic to open up their powers and abilities, which are really just demons pushing the person out of the way and taking them over. And you do see an exaggeration of that. Well, let's look at the Bible again. You see an exaggeration of it in all these demon possession movies where people do crazy superhuman feats because it's so many demons in the person. But also in the Bible, there was in Gethsemane, where there was a guy possessed by demons in the graveyard, and no chains could hold him, so he just wandered around where all the dead bodies were. And if anybody came through there, he would beat their ass. and then Jesus showed up and cast the demons out. That was an example biblically of superhuman strength, because no chains could hold the guy. He could break his chains, and he was drooling at the mouth and stuff. And the guy, and I don't know if it's the same guy, but one of the guys that was possessed by demons, his father said, yeah, my son's been possessed for years and nobody can get the demons out. And he throws himself into the fire. He's always throwing himself into getting hurt. And that's not the kid that's doing that to himself. It's the demons trying to, destroy the kid. And that's in Stranger Things too. Like, they're opening portals to the demonic, and the demons are coming through and killing people. And that's the whole thing of Vecnar, was he was going into people's most traumatic moments because they were openings to him. And then he was exploiting those openings and killing the people and doing where they popping their eyeballs out and making their bones snap. And that's just to be gory and everything like that, right? But the trauma is the opening, right? And where did the guy that became Vecnar learn that? When he was in the government program, because he was test patient number 1, and he knew that the openings to evil, to earthly power and evil and stuff like that, was through trauma. So when you watch these movies and TV shows like The Terrifier, I've never seen a Terrifier movie, but I heard all about them. And it's just to make you see horrible, disgusting stuff, to traumatize you, but additionally to desensitize you, because we know that it's true that some people like to see the gore and they want to see that stuff, so they're like, okay, we'll give them more of it. So you're demonizing yourself. You shouldn't want to see that stuff. You should, like when they're doing Stranger Things and they're murdering children, you should want to turn away from that. Like, you shouldn't want to see that. Like, this is one of the parts, I think we were watching season 4, and what I saw of it, they had killed, the Vecnar guy had killed all the kids, and I looked away. I was like, I don't want to see all. It's just a bunch of kids, dead bodies, and their eyes are blown out, and they're all I was like, I don't want to see this shit. Like, why would anybody want to see that? And it's very popular. So so Avengers Doomsday, my prediction is they just want to traumatize people by killing all of their childhood heroes that they pretended to be. CERN wants to open portals to the demonic. The X-Men are transhumanists that are no longer human. They've crossed over into being something else. Or they're fallen gods, or the progeny of fallen angels and human women. Like, isn't Nightcrawler's, his mom is Mystique, and she's like part demon, and she's a shapeshifter or whatever that is. And the one lady controls the weather. Haley Berry from the X-Men controls the weather, right? And there's Magneto, who controls forces of nature. This is all stuff that God forbid us to do. Controlling people's mind using psychic abilities of Jean Grey and Professor X to have control over people. Or they're government test subjects for experiments, like Wolverine, who was put in the Weapon X program, because that was a whole movie, right? One of the Wolverine movies was Weapon X or something. Is that the name of the movie? I can't remember. So anyway, the government got him, and they put adamantium in his bones, which was a very gross thing that the Russians tried to do in World War II. And I've seen photos of this, and it's gross. They're trying to see if they could give men metal bones. I don't know why. It didn't work. It's really gross. So anyway, I think that part of the origin of Wolverine came from this weird stuff that they did in World War II. And I don't even want to know what superheroes came out of Unit 371 or whatever. Was it 317 or 371? Did you ever hear about Unit 371 in Japan, what they were doing to the Chinese prisoners? It's disgusting. Yeah, I mean, the whole world cringed when they found out about that. But then again, the whole world didn't find out about the stuff that the Germans were doing, because they got paid to continue that research. Well, Tiny Mustache Man went over and had kids and retired in Argentina with a whole bunch of the other World War II German guys. Bad guys. So, I don't know, that's an earful, right? How's that for a lo-fi chill jam? I wish I would have said more of the Stranger Things stuff up first. Maybe I'll do a video, another one, where I'm just going to isolate and keep it focused only on Stranger Things without bringing Doomsday or Chainsaw Man or X-Men into it. But I thought all these things and MK Ultra will have to come into Stranger Things. You know what influenced Stranger Things existing? Something I don't hear other people talk about, but then again, I'm not really watching YouTube videos about Stranger Things and what it means. I remember J.J. Abrams did Super 8, and he put a horror bent on the Amblin style of movie because J.J. Abrams was literally Spielberg's babysitter. Of Spielberg's kids, J.J. Abrams was their babysitter. So, which is weird. So J.J. Abrams made Super 8, and Super 8 is the template of Stranger Things. I know that Stranger Things steals from a bunch of other stuff. It's all 80s nostalgia. Like, you know, all the Stephen King stuff and the Freddy Krueger stuff, the Vecna Freddy Krueger stuff. I hope I'm getting that name right. I don't want to keep saying it because you're probably already annoyed. But, you know, all the cool 80s stuff is in there. Not that it was cool, but anyway, moving on. I don't know, I can't remember other stuff, but, you know. Oh, they did the kid that was Eddie Van Halen kid or whatever, and he's playing the guitar and he's jamming out. And that's everybody's favorite song. Tell me that the Duffer Brothers aren't occultists, and I'll prove to you right now that they're lying. Kate Bush is a witch, okay? So the girl's favorite song is a Kate Bush song, and it sucks. That was never anybody's favorite song. Maybe there's some, you know, Zoomers or Gen Alpha that will tell you now, oh, Kate Bush, I love her. Nobody was thinking about that old witch until they put that in Stranger Things. I'm just saying, nobody's favorite song, not even a real life witch's favorite song, is Kate Bush's anything. Kate Bush doesn't even have a favorite song of her own, probably. Anyway, Kate Bush sucks. That music sucks. I don't know what. I'm sure there's some kind of occult witchcraft message in the song that's in that movie, but the girl has to keep listening to Kate Bush over and over again. Why? To get brainwashed? Because that's another MK Ultra technique thing. Is playing a song over and over again. That's what the soldiers did when they went into Iraq. They played heavy metal. It was a Metallica song. They just played it over and over again, and they made them listen to it. They did it to the Branch Davidians in Waco, where they were like blasting music and stuff to traumatize people. It's a torture tactic. So telling somebody to listen to a song over and over and over again, it's a way of wearing a person down so that demons can get in. So telling people in Stranger Things to think of your favorite song, I had songs that I like, and if you listen to them too much, you get sick of them. But, you know, forcing yourself to listen to the same song over and over again is self-torture and MK Ultra together. So look at the things that Stranger Things is putting out there to do. Brainwash yourself with the same song over and over and over again. And what also happens with the kids in Stranger Things, their nose bleeds when their powers come out. Their nose bleeding is the blood sacrifice. It's the blood offering. Blood comes out of their nose and it activates their powers. That means it's on. Let out some blood, which God said no bloodletting. Let out some blood and here's your power. That's how your powers are firing up. I'm not saying that the Duffer Brothers are evil occultists that drink baby blood or whatever. I'm saying that it's the whispers of demons into their ears, and they're like, that's a cool idea. It's just channeling that you don't know you're doing channeling. When you sit down to be a creative type, an artist, writer, painter, drawer, sculptor, and you don't know where the ideas are going to come from, so you just sit down with a pencil and do a stream of consciousness, and you connect ideas from things you see around you. Yes, you're being influenced by demonic. You're channeling ideas. I know I used to do it. I used to channel ideas, and then a lot of my ideas I had for things turns out came from real life occultism, and then I stopped. I was was like, those aren't really my ideas. I'm being whispered to by demons and I can't even hear them. But that's what's happening. I never heard like voices or any of that shit. But I did used to sit down and I would just like start drawing, and I don't know what I'm going to be drawing, and I just let it kind of unfold. That's a form of channeling. A lot of creative people that make things aren't necessarily like, is everybody that's making some kind of evil occult thing? No, they'll do research, they'll look at other things from popular culture, but in some way I think how people channel stuff is they pick pieces from here and there to make a pastiche, and then the whole thing is their collage, based on all their different inspirations, but the demons help pick and put those things together. And magical thinking, a lot of this stuff that creatives do to make movies and TV shows is magical thinking. Does that mean they're all part of some kind of satanic cabal or whatever? No, it just means they're influenced by dark forces and they don't even know it, and they're like, I don't believe in that devil shit. And it's like, well, where do you get your ideas from? I don't know, I just sit down and it comes to me. And it's one of the questions that for a long time famous artists hate answering because they don't have an answer to it. And somebody will ask the artist, where do you get your ideas from? And then the famous artist says, I hate that question. I don't know where they come from. Artists don't know where their ideas come from. It just kind of comes to me and I don't know where it comes from. It's the whispers of demons. You're channeling it. Just they don't even know it. And that doesn't mean those people are evil, because they're not. Are the Duffer Brothers evil? I don't know. Probably the Wachowskis are, but they're sisters now. So, and the Matrix, everybody says the first Matrix was good. What did the Wachowskis do after that? All bombs. Every single thing that says the Wachowskis is a bomb. You think Cloud Atlas was not a hit? Sorry. And neither was the one where Mila Jovovich played a Disney princess that was the Queen Bee. And then, whatever. All the movies suck. And, it's a lot of it's channeling. And, the superhero movies are worship and veneration of the old gods. And, Stranger Things also brings into it, like Stephen King, Cthulhu stuff. And it's all about opening portals to other dimensions. And and God says that there are realms, other realms. There's the dream realm, there's the astral realm, and there are entities that don't necessarily have material embodiment. This is incorporeal life form. They have to latch on to us to have material embodiment. And who knows what the Battle of Gog-Magog will look like, but it's where the forces of darkness, like grains of sand in the sea, will attack God in the camp of his saints. What's that mean? That's part of the end of the Bible, before God settles the earth and there's no more tears, for the last time. So we know that one person can have a legion of demons in them. We know that some people's personal pronouns are they, them. How appropriate to being possessed by demons. And some people openly want to be possessed by demons, and they want to channel, and they're like, yeah, I'm channeling, like they openly do it. I knew people in a cult, and they admitted that they channeled stuff, and their cult had a lot of stuff that was working out for them, and they were like making money and doing all kinds of stuff, and they said that they channeled stuff. Like they would sit down and do automatic writing, and stuff would come out that they would put into practice in waking life, and it worked. And they would have dreams about things, and then they would use those dreams as a jumping off point for how they lived their lives. And that's the influence of demons on the astral realm. I have a lot of Freddy Krueger type videos where I talk about spiritual warfare and making evil covenants in your sleep and your dreams or being influenced by demons. Maybe you might want to check, some of those videos out. I got more to come. I have like 3 or 4 videos in the playlist called Dream Stuff and Spiritual Warfare, whatever that playlist is called on this channel. But I know that I have as of me recording this video, there's like 3 more of those videos that haven't even been released yet, where I talk about, astral warfare and how you shouldn't do astral projection, and lucid dreaming is dangerous, and sleep paralysis, and the shadow people, and all that stuff. All that shit's Stranger Things stuff. It's demons. A lot of things are demons. And, do not be afraid. I'm talking about all this stuff, they want you to be scared. All you have to do is say Jesus' name, and they don't like that. They want to get out of here, because they're like, this guy has authority to call on God, I don't want to be here. And they leave, and you can command them in the name of Jesus. I bind you, demons, and I command you into the abyss, wherever you want to throw the demons away. I command you to leave, never to return. I bind you, demons, and I command you to, fall before the feet of the Lord, where God himself will do with you as he wills. I cast you before the feet of the Lord God himself, for him to do with you as he wills. And then they have to go before God, and then he decides what to do with them. That's one kind of exorcism. There's a lot of exorcism videos. I'm just speaking on what I did. I've seen some weird stuff too, but other people have seen stuff a lot weirder than me, and I don't know that I want to have those experiences. But I do know that some people, I don't want to see stuff, like I'm never going to watch a Terrifier movie, but I watch Stranger Things, and it's not scary. You know what I mean? To me, it's like, I'm like, this is what Stranger Things is? It's kind of lame. But really, I think it's supposed to be appealing, well, to as many people as possible. But I think they also want it to be appealing to young people, because this focuses on, 6-7 years of watching some kids grow up, right? Now they're grown-ups now. And, we watch these things and we grow up with them, like with the superheroes, where they're going to traumatize you by killing them, and you take your kids to see it, and you're like, but they killed Spider-Man, and, maybe you like those movies, so you're showing the old Spider-Man movies to your children, and then they go to see Doomsday, and you get to, and you're like, wow, they killed all the Spider-Mans, or they cucked them out, or whatever they do in these movies. They totally humiliated Thor again, and then they cut off Chris Hemsworth's head, and they're like, here, haha, here's your Satan surrogate of whatever. And then all the girls are just, badasses, and they're all possessed by demons, and they don't need a man and everything, and so, I think that's enough. What do you think? How's this for lo-fi chill jams? I think I'm going to shut this off and do another one on Stranger Things. Maybe, I don't know when, but I'm going to do another one on just all the Stranger Things stuff, because, well, here's the first draft of that. Here's another one. I don't know which one you'll see first, but, yeah, stay tuned to my Stranger Things review. I'm not going to go watch it all over again, but I am going to talk about all the stuff that was in this video. And probably as I do that, I will think of more things about what Stranger Things is actually about, which is getting you traumatized and possessed so that demons can take you over and push you out of the way, or something like that. To be influenced by demons, if nothing else, just so that it would be miserable. Misery loves company, and demons are miserable, twisted, distorted creatures. And they want you to go to hell, so don't you let them. Pray to God. Any stuff bothers you or makes you fearful, take it up with God and tell him, please, Lord, O Heavenly King, O Comforter, Spirit of Truth, wash away these fearful thoughts. And, do not fear, do not become dispirited. And don't watch the Terrifier or any of these gore movies and all that stuff, because it's just, you're participants in a ritual. When you're watching the horror movies and you see the people get killed in disgusting ways, even if it's just a bunch of, like, faceless soldiers or army men, or they're bad guys or whatever you want to believe, you are participating in a exoteric ritual. Esoteric or exoteric? No, exoteric is the fake one. Esoteric is where, like, you're not seeing an actual sacrifice, but you're watching a depiction in a movie that is a blood sacrifice. That's still a ritual. It's a spell. if you watch all that horror stuff and you like it and you want to see more, and you're like, I want to see all the coolest gore. I hate how YouTube censored the gore. They won't let me see. They used to show, I don't even want to watch the movies. I just want to see the kills. There's 47 kills in this movie. And then you're watching ritualistic blood sacrifice, even though it's like rubber guts and the guy in that movie didn't really die and everything. It, you know, same thing with video games. When you're killing people in a game, you are doing exoteric versions of rituals. I think that's right. Am I getting esoteric wrong? I can't remember. I'll have to go look it up. But anyway, you're not actually killing someone. You don't have to. You can play a game. You can watch a horror movie. You can watch a war movie. Because I said all your war movies are ritual sacrifices. Hey, why don't you go watch Apocalypse Now, or one of these Vietnam movies they made in the 80s and 90s? You're watching World War II. You're watching the war in Vietnam, or the Hurt Locker, or whatever it is. You're watching the ritual sacrifices. Yeah, but they killed the bad guys or whatever. Yeah, but is your bad guy your good guy that's a superhero that's overcoming evil with violence? Is he? You have to think about it. What movie am I watching? Is this hero just a surrogate for one of the old gods, where the old gods going around killing people? And then, you know, you're participating in that. You're an unwitting participant in a ritual. Yeah, but the gore, and then you like it. So that's openings for demons too. That's why I used to do public executions, right? There'd be demons at the public executions, looking out into the audience, watching it. Because who would want to watch a public execution? Why would you want to watch that? So you're watching that, and you're not stopping it or whatever. I mean, some people probably, even God would say, no, they're going to kill that guy. Let them. I can't speak for God. I'm just a guy. But, you know, like people getting off on the public executions is probably, every time there's a public execution, oh, here's Larry. He never misses the public executions. And it's just an opportunity for him to get more depraved, to put demons in there. Oh, there's Veronica. She loves these public executions. She's getting turned on. Let's go enter into Veronica, and she'll get possessed by demons because she likes watching somebody go or when they cut the heads off and somebody gets a boner. That's, demons are getting in because you're depraved, and you probably already have demons in you, which is the reason why you like that in the first place, because you're being taken over by the demon and losing pieces of your soul. So you're watching public execution, you're getting off on it because the demons are pushing you out of the way and corrupting you and perverting you, and they like that kind of shit because they have nothing else to do but try and get as many people as possible sent to hell, because that's where they're going forever, and you and me are going upstairs, right? So pray to God and don't watch all this shit. And if you do, don't be afraid of it. But I'm saying don't watch it. Like, why would you want to watch? Like, oh, this is the most violent movie. Okay, don't watch that one. Watch somebody's review on YouTube that don't like it. That's probably better for you. You know, like with the Gothard Tunnel celebration, they wanted people to see that ritual. They had multiple dance troops choreograph, I guess, probably like practicing for months to do all the moves perfectly, to say thank you to the people who paid for the world's largest underground tunnel that delivers supplies to the CERN Hadron Collider. People are weird, and they want to make us weird too. And when you willfully subject yourself to this stuff, you're participating in the ritual. I suppose there's a barrier of defense when you're watching the thing and you know what it's about, and then you're like, oh, that's not good. But some people watch this stuff blindly and they're getting off on it. And it does influence young people. I mean, Stranger Things is aimed at teenagers and tweens, right? But it is weird that a lot of people, like adults, we'll watch this thing about children being traumatized. I mean, that's what 80s movies were about. 80s movies were about children in peril, right? There's so much of, think about movies from the 80s where it was like young people either being chopped up in slasher films for fornicating, or just, you know, putting children, like that was the 80s. The Amblin Entertainment is, let's take children and put them in mortal peril. And that's a ritual. So anyway, be good, pray to God. That is all.